Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Surviving the Week. Some fun facts for you this week. It has rained every day of 2026 in the UK. We've broken records from the amount of rain that we've had. You thought that the UK was wet and miserable before? Well, now it's even worse. This week, it came up in conversation how the morning after pill works. So I decided to Google it. Did you know that the morning after pill stops you ovulating? Americans, that means plan B, okay? It stops you ovulating. It doesn't do anything if you've already ovulated. It can't stop anything. How fucking scary is that? I wonder how many people have taken it, not knowing that it's completely ineffective if you've already ovulated. And pharmacists don't communicate that if you go to get it. However, I did also find out it's free on the NHS these days. Used to be 20, 30 quid. Now it's free. So, if you've ever avoided getting the morning after pill because you think it's too expensive, it's now free. And everyone trying to avoid pregnancy should know that. It is free on the NHS. What a bloody miracle. Can't believe they've been keeping that quiet. This week, we tried out the viral pizza bake recipe where you put wraps, eggs and cheese and ham in, all cut up, mix it together, and that creates a base that kind of tastes a bit like a quiche. And then you top it with tomato puree, more cheese and pepperoni, and it was delicious. I was actually really shocked at just how nice it was. The kids loved it, other than my autistic teenager. I thought it was such a win. I thought this is like the easiest dinner. Just throw a loads of stuff in, chuck it in the oven for half an hour, and I'm done. She didn't like it. I'm hoping that if I alter the recipe a little bit, she might be willing to eat it because she said the issue was the tomato puree. So if I change that for something else, maybe she'll be more willing to eat it, but I'm not entirely sure. It was great though, and you should definitely go check it out and try it for yourself. I'm finally feeling better, although I do keep on having coughing fits still from being ill last week. And because I was ill, I'm really behind on the housework and struggling to catch up. I'm gradually getting there, but it just feels like I can't get back on top of things in the way that I was before. And that's really, really frustrating. The other night, after finishing my toddler's bath, I stood up and she went, "Oh, Mummy, dress, what happened?" And what happened was that she had been splashing me with water for the last 20 minutes. I'm not entirely sure why she was so shocked to find that I was soaked. She seems to be regressing with sleep at the moment, which is very, very difficult to manage. I can't work out how to organize her naps so that she actually sleeps through the night and goes to bed at a reasonable time, but then doesn't get up too early. I'm not really someone that believes in sleep training. It's not something I've done. My kids have always had their own natural sleep cycles, and I believe it's better to work around that as much as possible. And my toddler used to have a really, really good sleep routine, and I don't know what happened to change that. Not sure why all of a sudden she just doesn't fucking sleep. And if she does sleep, she's then waking up at stupid o'clock in the morning and keeping me awake for hours. To the point where I fell asleep in her bed at 3:30 and got woken up by my teenager getting ready for school. In a way, it was a good thing because we were early for school that day because I was already upstairs to get them up and get them ready. It did kind of help. But I was also exhausted and felt like shit for the entire day. I've always been accident prone, right? But I feel like lately it's definitely getting worse. I had several injuries last week, and then this week I have pulled a muscle by leaning over the bath. I have walked into one of my units again. I'm going to have to rearrange the living room because it's getting kind of ridiculous how often I walk into things. Maybe the way I rearranged it after New Year was not the best idea. I did say I didn't think it would last long. I've smashed my knee into the steering column in the car because I pulled the seat too far forward. And I've walked into my daughter's ride-along unicorn, which I don't even know how I did that. And I also don't understand how it hurt so much. It was really fucking painful. My legs are literally covered in bruises. It's ridiculous. I have been getting the urge to dye my hair. I did a little bit of late night Amazon shopping, so I've already got the dye sat on top of the fridge waiting to be used. And I wanted to try and look like a normal-ish person for a while, but I am getting that itch again, and it is very, very tempting to do something silly. I did ask for advice, and a lot of people said, just leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. A lot of them talked about damage. Colour doesn't cause damage, not the ones that I use. I use Directions dye. That's not damaging for your hair. It's pretty much no different to putting like conditioning mask on. It doesn't actually hurt the hair in any way. It just puts colour on it, and it's temporary. It's not permanent anyway. So I'm gonna try and see how long I can go without doing it. I don't think it's gonna be very long. I might have crazy hair again by next week. We'll see. I feel like after all of the stress of Christmas and trying to get back into a routine and then getting sick, I've completely forgotten about exercise. My weight has gone back up a little bit. Not very much. I'm still not back at where I began before I started the coaching in October, but it's definitely not where I want it to be and not going in any direction. I've just kind of plateaued, which is a good thing. Maintaining my weight is still better than gaining it, but it is getting me down that I'm not doing anything, and that's something I really want to try and prioritize and put some time into this week, is trying to get a routine of some kind, even if it's only 5 minutes here and there, just to be moving my body, doing something to make myself feel better, because it was really helping me knowing that I was looking after myself physically. That was a real positive, and so I need to get back on top of that. I was talking to my friend the other day about how I feel like I've got just constant brain fog. Like, I'm struggling with concentration, I'm struggling to organize my thoughts, I'm struggling to organize my life, my house, everything. Like, I feel like I'm just not even functioning. I'm spending a lot of time just kind of disassociating, and I don't know why. And then I saw a video from another creator explaining that we're currently being exposed to so much information, so much horrific information, that it makes it very, very difficult to compartmentalize, and our brains are having to work overtime to do that, because it's not normal to see photos and descriptions of child abuse and then just carry on with your day. That's not fucking normal. It's traumatic. And we're having to try and hold all of this information and then just live like it's normal, when we all know it's not normal. And we're all experiencing this kind of collective trauma at the moment with what we're being exposed to. And I honestly think a lot of creators need to start putting trigger warnings on their videos. Some of them are already doing it, but a lot of them aren't. And when a video starts with an image from the Epstein files that is deeply disturbing, and you can scroll away from it, but it's too late because you already fucking saw it. We need to be thinking about that when we're creating videos about this topic and how that's going to impact people, how it's going to impact survivors and assault victims, and especially child abuse victims, to see those things. Like, it's great that people are talking about it. The information needs to be out there. People need to know what's happening. But at the same time, you need to do so responsibly and be careful. Why are there ICE agents at the Olympics in Italy? Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the United States of America do not need to be traveling around. If you needed more evidence that they are basically the current administration's secret police force, that is it. That is the proof that you need, okay? Because they wouldn't be taking anyone other than their special secret little guard with them overseas. It's fucking insane. Like, be more Nazi. Really? The royal family have come out to say that they fully support an investigation into Andrew, formerly known as Prince, and everyone else that there is suspicion of in the royal family that has come up in the Epstein files, which is excellent. Meanwhile, you've got Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, still trying to hold on to power despite the fact that he's admitted that he knew he needs to resign and a general election needs to be called. And then everyone needs to vote for the Green Party if we have any hope of saving this country from fascism and not falling into it like the US has. So, some people got to see the unredacted version of the Epstein files. Well, partially unredacted. And whereas before we thought that Trump's name came up 38,000 times, it turns out it's actually over 1 million. So not only does Trump appear in the Epstein files more times than God appears in the Bible, Trump appears in the Epstein files more times than there are words in the Bible. It's fine though, because I'm sure he didn't do anything. Only he did. He did awful, horrific things to children. He needs to spend the last few months that he has left on this earth in prison. And so does the rest of his fucking administration. I realised this week that I have been shadow banned on Instagram. Even when I search for myself, I can't find my recent videos. It comes up with videos from over a year ago, which doesn't even make sense. You'd think it would at least come up with my viral videos. But no, it's not showing anything. And it shows maybe a couple of recent posts, like one photo posts, but that's it. And there is no actual reason for it. Unless there's someone sat there reporting me constantly, and then the reports just aren't coming through to me because they're not found to be genuine, and that's impacting it. Is it because I'm talking about politics? I don't know what it is, but it's fucking annoying. Like, people should be able to search for me and find my recent videos. It's not like I have a common name. It's a unique name. Like, my page name is a unique name. It doesn't make sense. And it's really frustrating and it's pissing me off. Explain how I have 12,000 followers on Instagram and yet 200 people, most of which are not followers, are seeing my videos. Make it make sense. I decided to get the Polishy nail pens. Now, I have been looking at these for months. They are constantly showing up as adverts, and I wanted to try them out. And the main thing on my mind was, is it going to be worth the money? No, it's not worth the money. Some of them are really good, okay? But what I've found is that some of the pens don't work, depending on the colour. The lighter colours, which are the ones that I wanted, don't work properly. And so they were very good. They sent me a replacement. Same problem. I haven't gone back to customer services yet about the replacement because honestly, I'm just like, I don't even know if I want them to fix it at this stage because obviously the products don't work properly. Some of them do. Like, check this out. Look, isn't that cute? And then if I do this, look, it says love for Valentine's Day. Aren't I adorable? They're quite difficult to use unless you have an extremely steady hand, which apparently I don't, which I didn't know. And in order to do any kind of pattern, it's very, very hard. It's not as easy as they make it look. I feel like it's false advertising, and it is extremely expensive for a product that only works 60% of the time. It's not at all worth it. But that's just my opinion. If you try it for yourself and you find that it all does work, then that's great. And I'd love to hear about it. You should be checking your block suggestions on Instagram. When you go to your block list, at the bottom is block suggestions. And that is mainly accounts that have been created by people that you have already blocked. So you need to go on there and you need to just block all of those accounts and get all of the shitty people away from your content. The current trend of you can tell a woman's character by her childhood photos proceeds to show lots of childhood photos is concerning and disturbing. If we're not showing our children, why are we showing ourselves as children? Especially in the current climate, something about it feels wrong to me. Uneasiness. Whenever I see this trend, I'm like, ugh, why are we doing this? Why are we showing what we look like as children? Why are we providing more photos of children to the internet? It doesn't make any sense. And I don't think we should be doing it. People are often shocked by the extent at which I experience hatred and how intense my emotions can sometimes be, and therefore how extreme the things I say sometimes are. But this isn't new to me. I have always experienced hatred really intensely, even as a child. It's a core part of my being. I don't know if that's healthy or not. Probably not. Does it matter? No, not really. Anyone who has been close to me in the past would have said that I have anger issues. I first had anger management when I was in year 5 or 6. It was organised by my head teacher, and then I used that to talk about how much I hated my head teacher. Although I think a lot of that hatred came from my mum's opinions about her. And I can no longer really remember what it was that she did that was so bad. I just know that I hated her intensely. I mean, we all know I'm pretty fucked up, and that's not new either. They come in threes. No, I'm okay. We all know I'm pretty fucked up, and that's not new either. I've been fucked up since birth, really. So there was never very much hope for me. I'm also very good at holding grudges when somebody does me wrong. Most of the time. Someone does something maliciously, then I tend to hold that against them for a very long time. It doesn't tend to apply to people I love, though, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe both. When I was pregnant with my eldest, I was in college, there was a law lecturer that I deeply hated because she was incompetent, in my opinion. And so I would spend an awful lot of time ranting about how much I hated her. And my friends would blame it on the pregnancy hormones, which I think definitely amplified my feelings, but were not at all entirely to blame for the level of psycho that I went to with my rage. That's definitely just me. So, how was last week's tarot reading? Well, I definitely feel burnt out, but there's nothing new there, so that was to be expected. I don't think I came across anyone trying to reconcile, and I don't think I had the urge to reconcile with anybody, but then again, the cards did say that would be what I might miss. Overall, it's been a pretty good week. So, let's see what next week has in store. And don't forget to come back for episode 8 to find out whether or not the reading was accurate. 7 card spread. First, we have the current energy that we're going into the week with. The 8 of Cups reversed. Trying one more time. Indecision, aimless drifting, avoidance, fear of change, fear of loss. And the overall meaning is manifestation, practicality, skill, absolute decisions, business, and the ego. I'm being drawn to the meaning of trying one more time and aimless drifting, because I definitely feel that at the moment with the brain fog. Like everything I'm doing is kind of pointless, but I keep trying anyway. The upcoming challenge for the week. The Queen of Swords. Unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, direct communication, clear-minded, and perceptive. So the upcoming challenge, I'm being drawn to the unbiased judgment and direct communication. Wonder what that could mean. The hidden opportunity this week. Ooh, the Magician. Action, creation, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower, skill, and creativity. So both the Queen of Swords and the Magician are upright. I very rarely get upright cards. So the hidden opportunity this week is manifestation and self-confidence. The guiding wisdom of the week, the Tower. Upright again, which is about change and options. Upright is sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, disaster, awakening, release, and sudden insight. A negative upright, how wonderful. So the guiding wisdom this week is chaos and sudden insight. I wonder what insight and revelation there will be. My area of focus for the week is the Hanged Man reversed. Delays, standstill, resistance, stalling, indecision, fear of sacrifice, and lack of control. So that's what I need to focus on this week, is my indecision and lack of control, fear of sacrifice. The emotional undercurrent of the week. The Fool reversed. Holding back, indecision, hesitation, recklessness, fearlessness, bad choices, and risk-taking. Indecision seems to be coming up a lot today. So I guess it's going to be a very indecisive week. This is the emotional undercurrent this week, is holding back, hesitating, and being reckless. What about the outcome of the week? How's the week going to turn out overall? The Ace of Swords reversed. Confusion, brutality, chaos, inner clarity, rethinking an idea, and clouded judgment. So chaos has come up a lot. So has clarity. And so has indecision. So there's going to be indecision, there's going to be chaos, and that will bring about clarity. So much to look forward to. Come back for episode 8 and find out if the cards were right. I don't know if I want them to be or not.